50 years ago, Bill France said, "I'm faster than you, and I can prove it." NASCAR is born. They race on sand, dirt, asphalt, anywhere they can draw a finish line. 100 miles turns into 200, 200 into 500. Cars get more powerful, more aerodynamic, and faster. Frighteningly faster. The competition is close, sometimes too close. Trading position means trading paint. Turns become steeper, top speeds higher, knuckles whiter. Drivers find new ways to win. Check that. Endure. Drafting becomes essential. The slingshot, an art form. It's brother versus brother, Chevy versus Ford, the king versus history, everyone versus the law of physics. And with each passing season, the fans grow hungrier, their support verging on worship. A new generation of heroes emerges. We see their faces on TV, t-shirts, trading cards, video games. Some are deified, others vilified. Everyone gets in on the action. Corporations, movie stars, Molly Hatchet. The winners get cups, champagne, cereal sponsors. The losers get towed. But when you get right down to it, none of this really matters, because I'm faster than you, and I can prove it. Just give me a car and a shot at the checkered flag, and I can prove it. NASCAR 98, 50 years in the making. If it's in the game, EA Sports. It's in the game.
Welcome to another Wookie Automotive Racing Rambling podcast. It is I, the Wookie, the one and only, sitting here on my beat-up old couch, and I'm about to ramble about some racing. We had just finished up minutes ago Martinsville, the first out of 500 Cup Series at Martinsville, and it was a pretty entertaining race. Yeah, a lot of talk, a lot of breakdown in this one. Let's get right to it. Overall, it was a fairly clean race. Now, a whole lot of argy-bargy stuff that we've seen. We've seen this in the last couple of years, a lot of time. Some single car incidences here and there, some mechanical failures, but no real major bang-ups now. This race last year, it was a different story, but or a lot more subdued race. And overall, I felt this was a better race than, last year's. That was a real burp. As I say, for the first of a million times. There I go again. Basically, it was fairly clean. About 30 laps in, we had got started with our first caution. Jeb Burton, I believe, making his first start of the year, running for Rick Ware. Looked like they melted a bead, hit the outside retaining wall, ended up a few laps down. And then it went relatively clean for a while. Actually, like 30 laps later, Jimmy Johnson wheel hopped and spun. And then just kind of, and it looks like Cole Perns got a little argument going on with Todd Gordon. But anyways, we'll get to that later. Then we went clean and green for a while. It's kind of stages. Denny Hamlin and Joey Logano just simply dominated this race. And then about 125 laps to go or something like that. Then the race started picking up. We maybe 150 laps to go. It really started when William Byron lost brakes, backed it into the outside retaining wall, and then shortly after went green. Unfortunately, the old DW throwback, our MBM entry, caught fire. Pretty exciting race for him. He had a second stage there where it went green. We had green flag pit stops. Dropped the jack, got caught underneath the car. He ran around the track with it under the car. Never lost it, so I had to come back pit road. Lost a few laps there. And then the failure, scary failure. Personally, I feel the car is burning. Timmy's been out of the car for several seconds, and it just seemed to take him quite a while to get fire crews over there. He was right there on pit road. There's a safety. Every pit stall, in between pit stalls, there's guys with fire extinguishers. So it's like Could have been a guy right there with a fire extinguisher. But they waited quite a while to get people there. Unfortunate. I personally think that's one our better of the 2 or 3 Cup cars we got running. That is 819. That's an old BK racing car. In turn, an old Michael Waltrip car. We've been mostly using it as a short track car this year. And hopefully nothing is too crispy and tore up that we can't race it at Phoenix as planned. Anyways, actually, I think that one was an 819. No, I think that one was the one we ran at the Roval. I might have gotten my cars mixed up. 819 we're going to run at Phoenix. I believe this car was the Roval car, which is another Waltrip car. It was actually originally a Speedway car, but we ran it at Indianapolis and Pocono and the Roval. No, I'm all mixed up. But we definitely ran that car at the Roval. And we ran it here at Martinsville. Sorry, it's been a long day. But sitting watching this racing and then working all morning. But anyways, then shortly after, Kyle Larson had a failure. His car caught fire too. Originally thought it might have been an engine failure. Might have been a transmission failure. Came to a rest. Car locked up, wouldn't roll, and they spent about 20 laps trying to get the thing on a rollback. They probably should have thrown the red flag, but so then it went green for a little while. Then Clip Boyer got tagged, spun, brought out the caution, and rolled up 30 to go, and then we went green, and the last run was fantastic. Started off, Joey Logano got a good run. Looked like he was starting to run away. Then his teammate Brad Keselowski burped again. Chased him back down. Of course, man, really gassy today. Then Keselowski chased him down. Couldn't quite get back around him. And then, as a result, that backed them up to the field. The 3 Toyotas of Kyle Busch, Martin Truex, and Denny Hamlin caught back up. They and then kind of methodically, Truex wove his way through the field, got up to Logano, and then they fantastic battle, probably the battle of the year. Just side by side, weren't beating and banging off each other really. They were leaning on each other, but they weren't beating and banging. But just side by side for 20 laps, or not 20 laps, but 10 or so laps, and then finally. White flag. Truex was on the inside, able to sneak by him. Now, he thought he was green and clear. This is Martinsville. This is short track racing. That provided the opportunity Logano to get to his bumper, and Logano may have laid on the brakes a little bit, waited for him to get by to use that opportunity. And Logano squared up going to the 3, gave him a little bump. Got on his inside, and then Truex tried turning down on him, kind of wrecked himself. Truex still finished 3rd. Logano wins. Danny Hamlin stuck by and finished 2nd, almost took the win. And it was entertaining. I see some people definitely thought it was a better finish than the Roval. The Roval was just nuts insanity. This, I feel, was just like pure racing. You can't, as much insanity, as rare as it is for us to get insanity like the Roval, I feel to get an actual true I can't really put words to this. It was just entertaining. It was like Chicago. I think Las Vegas was similar. And then, this is one of the top finishes of the year. Hands down. Probably the finish of the year. I would put this over the Roval just because it was just a lot more pure racing. It's just the fact they spent 10 laps side by side, pulling away from third place and not beating the crap out of each other. That was just impressive. You can't argue with that. And there's that. I'll try to reload this. And they still don't have the results. I don't know that they got it up. So let's run through real quick. Joey Logano with the win. Led 309 laps today. So absolutely destroyed him today. Only his second win of the year. But Logano's been real. If you been watching the points all year, he's been, while Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick and Martin Truex have been winning all the time, they've also been kind of feast or famine. Logano's been real consistent all year long. And he's been quietly sitting there, hanging out there, top 4, top 5 in points all year long. So, credit to him. Quietly putting together a pretty good season, and he's in the Final Four now, and I would consider him a pretty good contender to have in the Final Four. He's just been there on points all year long. Now, I think it would be the other three, your Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, and Martin Truex, they would be pretty solid candidates to have in the Final Four. Harvick really struggled. He got lapped at one point, and he just really wasn't in it. But he still finished 12th. Also, this was an impound race. They qualified last night, and then this morning they teched, and then if you didn't make it through the first time, you lost your qualifying spot. And then Truex actually came back from a 33rd starting position because he would have qualified like second or something like that, but ended up losing out on his spot because of not making it through tech in time, or not making it through tech the first time. So anyways, Logano wins, Hamlin second, Truex third, Busch fourth, and it was only a 10th margin of victory. Very close finish. Fantastic finish. Photo finish. 3-way photo finish. It was at the smallest track on the schedule. It was just 10. I don't know. I'm trying to do meme stuff here. But Kyle Busch fourth after starting on the pole. He was the next one with the next amount of laps led with 100. Brad Keselowski fell to fifth. Kurt Busch quietly ran top 5 all day, and then that group of cars kind of got together and kind of pulled away. He finished 6th. Chase Elliott with a tire strategy at the end didn't really work out in his favor. Finished 7th. Ryan Newman quietly in 8th. He had a real good run all day today. Daniel Suarez, a name we don't really hear much at the top, quietly with another top 10. Question mark where is he going to go next year? And then Eric Almirola finished 11th. Jimmy Johnson came back from starting in the pack after losing his qualifying time due to inspection in the spin to finish 12th. Looking at other notables, how about JTG, probably the biggest word salad name in cup racing right now for a team. Kroger Click List, JTG Daughtry Racing. Chris Burchard, AJ Allmendinger finishing 13th and 14th. Very good run for that team. How about Ty Dillon with a 15th place finish? Jamie McMurray 16th. Alex Bowman 17th. Old David Reagan in the front row car in 18th. And that's really what I got. Right before the race this morning, I guess Jeffrey Earnhardt was supposed to start the 96, but I guess had some family issues. His grandmother's very sick with cancer. Went to focus on her. Wanted to spend time with the family. So the team's former driver, DJ Cannington, was in this weekend driving for Jay Robinson in the Truck Series. He stepped in to fill out. Did all right. Finished 27th. Despite no seat time in the car at all this weekend. What else we got? That's pretty much all I really got. No, unfortunately, Timmy finished 38th. Unfortunately. And old Hermie Sadler coming back for his one race he runs every year. He had brake failure at lap 230. He finished shotgun on the field. So, what else did we have other than Cup at Martinsville? Well, we had trucks at Martinsville. And it was like this race. It was pretty tame. Uh, definitely not as exciting at the end like this one, like the Cup race. But Johnny Sauter put another smackdown on the field to win. Led 148 out of 200 laps. Dominating performance. That gives him 6 wins this year. If he does not win this championship at the Martinsville, I would heat it. I would heat it. Yeah. All sorts of word salad tonight. I would not be very happy. I'm sorry I had a pun I was trying to make, I was trying to be funny, but it didn't work out, so I gave up on it. But dominating performance. Brett Moffitt wasn't really a factor all day. He went on, finished second. Mike Snyder quietly in top 5 all day. He finished third. Ben Rhodes fourth. And then part-time rookie Kyle Benjamin driving for DGR Crosley finished fifth. Had a lot of ringers in this race. Ray Ciccarelli back in the 0 car for Jennifer Joe. Late model ace Landon Huffman driving a third Nice entry. I'm just going to go in. Just click on the entry list because spoilers. Ray Ciccarelli in the 0. Sheldon Creed, ARCA champion, making his second start, I believe. Yeah, second start of the year. Driving the 2 car this time around for GMS. Let's see what else we got. Brad Foy in the 15 car for Jay Robinson. Kyle Benjamin, short track ace. He's run a lot of ARCA and K&N East, and he's run some races for Gibbs the last couple of years in the Xfinity Series. Was in the 17 car for DGR Crosley. Sprint car ace Tanner Thorson, once again back in the 20 car for the Young's Motorsports. Timothy Peters driving a 5th GMS truck. I think this was sold basically on his win last week. And then Tyler Dipple. He's been running a lot of ARCA and K&N the last couple of years. I guess he's running the remaining races for GMS in the 25. On Point Motorsports returned with old Jeb Burton driving. He pulling double duty this weekend. Chad Finley, late model standout, running part-time in ARCA last few years. Notable for his win at Nashville last year. He was driving the 33 for Josh Rayum, and the Rayum brothers entry. Qualified pretty good. But unfortunately, he had some issues during the race. Christian Eckes just announced this week he's running the full ARCA schedule next year for Venturini. He drove the 4th KBM entry for the 46. On the heels of Wendell Chavez retiring, DJ Kennington drove the 49 for a premium. Tyler Ankrum, on the heels of his K&N East Championship, making his debut driving the 54 for DGR Crosley. Kyle Donahue once again came back, drive the 63. Parker Klickerman, of course, in the 75. Dawson Cram, I worked with this kid at the start of the year. His dad is Kevin Cram, former crew chief in the Cup and Truck Series. He was on the 01 car for Jason Leffler years back. I believe it was the 86 or the 25 trucks. He was over at was it Innovative or Impact Motorsports? I think it was Impact Motorsports, the name of that team back in the day. But I think it was the 86 that Kevin was crew chief. And of course, Dawson's uncle, Clinton Cram, he's a long time crew chief himself. He was actually couldn't be here this weekend. He was actually up in California this weekend, helping out with the K&N West team with Trevor Huddleston. And then Chase Purdy, who ran ARCA this past year for MDM, once again making his debut driving for MDM. Going through that race pretty quick. Went clean and green for about 38 laps, and then the first caution came out. Chad Finley, unfortunately, lost brakes, backed into the outside retaining wall. Hard crash. Rayom brothers, or the Rayom entry, had a real good run, had a chance for the win at Talladega before getting caught up on the last lap. Wreck, still had probably one of his best finishes of the year, hoping to capitalize on having a ringer in the truck. Unfortunately, got caught up in a wreck. And then the stages were really short, only about 50 laps. Shortly after the restart, or right on the restart, Stuart Friesen cut a tire, spun, stalled the truck, ended up a lap down. Ended up coming back to finish 11th. And then they went green to the end of the stage. And then about 50 laps to go. Not hard crash. I'm mixing up my incidences in my head. The 83, Mr. Dawson, he got tagged by Stuart Friesen trying to get by. Spun, brought out the caution. And then on that restart, it was just whole sorts of shenanigans. Just a classic Martinsville jumble up. Grant Enfinger and Chase Purdy got spun. And then it went clean and green to the end. Johnny Sauter won. Let's look at other notables. Harrison Burton finished 8th. Eckes 9th. Timothy Peters in 10th. So many notables. Jeb Burton quietly in 15th. Kligerman 16th. Tyler Dipple 17th. Ankrum 18th in his debut. Creed finished 19th. And rounding up top 20, Austin Hill. Looking at the points for the Truck Series. And actually, I got to go back and look at... I'll wait to the end before I do the Cup one before I preview Texas. But anyways, points for the Truck Series right now. Sitting at playoff points. Johnny Sauter punched his ticket into Homestead. And as of right now, he sits a 29-point lead, almost a full race lead after one race. Just because of bonus points and stuff. Noah Gregson finished second, 29 points out. Brett Moffitt's over a full race back in third. Grant Enfinger rounds up your top 4. 51 points back. Enfinger only has a 2-point advantage over 5th in points Justin Haley. 10 points back is Matt Crafton. And then, it's only, this is a round of 6, not a round of 8, because the Truck Series do things a little different because of their shorter fields. But that's just what we got. Looking at playoff points, Johnny Sauter would be 95 points back. That's almost 3 races ahead. That's just oh my God. Over Noah Gregson. Grant Enfinger would be 3rd in points. Stuart Friesen would be 4th in points. And then Justin Haley. Brett Moffitt would be all the way back in 6th in points. So he's really been feast or famine this year. Sorry. Oh, my phone is freaking out. Oh no, I got like 100 notifications. But oh my God, my phone's freaking out. Matt Crafton would be all the way back in 7th. Ben Rose 8th. Mike Snyder would be 9th in points. He's your top rookie right now. And oh my God. Oh, I just got a text about what happened to the 66 car. Sorry about that. But anyways, Mike Snyder will be your top rookie. Oh, I'm way off track now. All sorts of distractions going All right, look how unprofessional this podcast is. I should shut that phone off. Some ASMR right there as I threw it into a shopping bag. Anyways, Mike Snyder is your top rookie. Still, he's currently 29 points ahead of Todd Gilliland in the rookie, and then that's also in points because they're 9th and 10th in points right now. That's about a full race. Gilliland probably looked like he had a race-winning truck, but unfortunately, pit strategy was not in his favor, and then they fell back. Johnny Sauter was just that good on fuel strategy, or pit strategy, and then it just, of course, shuffled Gilliland back in the pack, and unfortunately, he finished 12th. Not really telling where his points battle is. I'm just looking at the truck schedule. It's like Jesse Little, who's run 5 races this year. 7. Jesse Little's run 7 races this year, and he's currently 19th in points. Joe Nemechek, who's only run about half the races, some of them starting parks, is 20th in points. Oh my god. Or he's run 14. He's starting parked a lot. He's 20th in points because he's got a couple top 5. He's got top 5 and a bunch of top 10s. Yeah, truck series gets goofy. Saturday night was the K&N West season finale at the fantastic. I say this every time, but I've never even been to the place. But it's just every time I see pictures of this place, it just looks like a fantastic facility. Everybody I've talked to that's been there just love the place. It's just a world-class facility, world-class. Probably one of the best short tracks in the country that not a lot of people really know about outside of the West Coast. Of course, I'm talking about the Kern County Raceway Park in Bakersfield, California, the half-mile D Oval. Derek Thorne had a pretty good chance of taking home the championship, and he took home the championship. Haley Deegan started on pole, led the first bit of laps, looks like. And then Derek Kraus got around her and really didn't look back. Kraus absolutely dominated, leading 175 laps. Ryan Partridge finished second. Trevor Huddleston, rookie, driving for Bugatti, finished third. David Mayhew, a rare start for him, former regular in the series, finished fourth. And your eventual champion, Derek Thorne, finished fifth. Haley would finish sixth. Cole Rouse, seventh. Cody Vanderwall, the independent racer, finished eighth. Todd Souza, veteran, kind of went into a part-time role second half of the season, finished ninth. And veteran Matt Levine finished 10th. Looked like kind of a clean race, couple spins, then the stage breaks. But that was about it. Looking at the end of it, Derek Thorne finishes 27 points ahead of teammate Cole Rouse. Ryan Partridge. Cole Rouse, driving for Bill McAnally, finished third in points, 29 points back. Derek Kraus finished fourth. Haley Deegan would finish fifth in points. She would take home Rookie of the Year, 10 points over Bugatti driver Trevor Huddleston. Cody Vanderwall would finish 7th in points, kind of your top independent racer. Matt Levine would finish 8th. Takuma Koga, running for West Series veteran John Krebs, finished 9th in points. And then Todd Souza, despite his part-time schedule, would finish 10th in points. Then everyone else was kind of a tale of part-timers. Bill Kahn, I think running his last race, they kind of announced he would finish 11th in points. And he would finish 11th in the race, only 3 laps down, so good for him. Also this afternoon, we had F1 at Mexico. Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. Now, I don't really agree with their decision to bypass the Pelotada, the sweeper turn at the exit or at the far end of the track. Instead, they've kind of bypassed that by cutting through the soccer stadium. But it's been pretty entertaining. Definitely, the track is a mile high, kind of like Denver. Or Mexico City's a mile high like Denver. And, of course, that requires some different things with the engines. And obviously, the Renault-powered Red Bulls had figured out power. Even the Renaults themselves, the factory team, had some speed in practice. Max Verstappen absolutely dominated, would win over Sebastian Vettel and Kimi Räikkönen. Lewis Hamilton, despite going off into turn 1 late in the race, finished 4th and would wrap up his 5th championship. I think 4 straight. That's the fun part about the F1. It seems like we can only get these champions just right in a row. No, he didn't win 4 straight because Nico Rosberg won 2, 3 years ago. But yeah, it's like 5 straight for Mercedes. Valtteri Bottas. The Mercedes cars really kind of struggled this weekend, but of course they got the championship locked up. Bottas, he also went off late in the race. He finished 5th. Nico Hülkenberg for Renault finished 6th. Charles Leclerc continuing his real kind of impressive second half of the season in points. He'd finished 7th. He's going to be really interesting to watch in Ferrari next year. Stoffel Van Dorn kind of showing some life. He's obviously out on the outs next year, getting replaced by Lando Norris. And I don't think he's scored points this year up to this point. No, he has, but definitely Alonso's run circles around him. Stoffel finished 8th, so a good run for him. And then Marcus Ericsson and the other Sauber finished 9th. And Pierre Gasly for Toro Rosso finished 10th. The race got kind of start off. It was kind of a clean start. Still some damage. Esteban Ocon's wing got knocked off. Fernando Alonso ran over it, and apparently a piece went into his side intake and overheated the engine. Real unfortunate for Alonso. Big news out of him. The big question mark, what's he going to do next year? Apparently, he's not IndyCar full-time next year. Also, McLaren not going to be involved in IndyCar other than maybe a Indy 500 team, factory team like they did, or in-house team like they did for Fernando last year. Basically, kind of the higher-ups execs kind of put the kibosh on that because they're more worried about, hey, get the F1 team running decent again. So, there is that. Then, virtual safety car came out about lap 28 or something. Carlos Sainz had a failure in his Renault, like a steering or hydraulic failure. And then, poor Daniel Ricciardo starting on pole, run second all day long to his young teammate Max Verstappen. He about 10 laps to go, unfortunately, had an engine failure, and that would bring out the virtual safety car. Looking at the points for the F1 guys, Lewis Hamilton is your 2018 world champion. 64 points right now ahead of Sebastian Vettel. Kimi Räikkönen still trailing back in 3rd. Bottas is all the way back down in 4th, so kind of found out interested in Räikkönen's ahead of Bottas in points. Max Verstappen's 5th right now. Daniel Ricciardo 6th. Nico Hülkenberg is 7th in points. Sergio Perez in the Force India, Racing Point Force India. I'm sure that team will be known as Racing Point next year and drop the Force India as they've been sold to Lance Stroll's dad. But anyways, Perez is 8th. Kevin Magnussen for Haas is 9th. Haas had a pretty big announcement this weekend, announcing that Rich Energy, a UK-based energy drink, will take over the title sponsorship role of the Haas team. So their first outside major sponsorship outside of themselves. So some pretty good cash influx. See where that takes Haas for next year. And then Fernando Alonso quietly sitting in 10th in points. So I wouldn't have thought that. And just because I got to do it, because I do it for the other series, Charles Leclerc is currently the top rookie in the series, currently 50th in points with 27 points. Let's see, and he's ahead of the only other rookie with points. Or no, Brandon Hartley is at 19th in points. I would consider him a rookie. He only ran 4 races at the end of the year last year. So, yeah. Yeah, that's a 23-point advantage over Brandon Hartley in Toro Rosso. And because I mentioned it earlier, let's go look at the Cup points, because I forgot to do it when I was actually talking about the race. Look at this. After this race, Joey Logano punches his ticket. Looking at the actual chase standings, Kyle Busch is leading, 21 points ahead of Kevin Harvick and Martin Truex Jr. Logano would be 4th in points, but he's, of course, locked into Homestead. Kurt Busch is 5th in points right now. And if I look at and he's kind of well behind Truex and Harvick. See, he is 25 points back, so that's not a comfortable margin for Harvick and Truex. Not very comfortable for Kurt. So he probably needs a win, or those guys that have problems next week. Chase Elliott is 31 points back 31 points back of the 4-player cutoff. He's currently 6 in points. Clint Boyer, he's 42 points back, over a full race back. He's in a win situation, and Eric Almirola is 50 points back. He's in a must-win situation for. Looking at the non-playoff standings, Kyle Busch would extend his lead to 36 points over Kevin Harvick. That would be, looking at the traditional championship battle, that's kind of comfortable, but 2/3 of a race ahead. Of course, it takes one bad race, finish last, Harvick would win. And of course, he'd leapfrog him at that point, but that's kind of a comfortable margin at this point. So kind of curious to see where this battle goes. If it swings back towards Harvick, it's obviously swung back in Busch's direction the last few races. Joey Logano, of course, all but out of it right now, but he would move up 3rd in points over Martin Truex Jr. Kurt Busch would sit at 5th in points. Brad Keselowski 6th. Clint Boyer 7th. Chase Elliott 8th. Ryan Blaney 9th. And Denny Hamlin in 10th. Looking at that. And currently we would not have any rookies in the top 20 at all. It's kind of a real been lackluster rookie. It's kind of seen who's gonna not wreck out before the end of the year. William Byron's currently 24th in points, and he's got 523 points. And I'll look at Bubba Wallace. He's 28th in points right now. Oh yeah, that's 107 points. Byron's all got this rookie of the year locked up. Of course, I think a couple years ago, NASCAR finally went back to the traditional, or went to a traditional end of the year final points tally for rookie of the year instead of doing. They had that funky where they took that funky deal for the longest time. It was like half the race minus, or half the races. Their best finishes in half the races minus the 3 or worst, or minus their best and worst finish. I don't know. But anyways, I like this system a lot better. It's just, hey, you can look at the final points battle, points battle at the end. It's like, hey, this guy finished it. Hey, this guy in points, he's rookie of the year. Because the old point system for rookie of the year got kind of fucky. But that's just my opinion. So where do we go from here? Well, as I go back to the front page, we got Texas Motor Speedway, the 1.5-mile quad oval. We got the AAA Texas 500 on Sunday. Saturday is the O'Reilly Auto Parts 300 for the Xfinity Series. And Friday night is the Jag Metals 350K for the Truck Series. Not really I got to say about that. All 3 series got 3 more races left. And Phoenix the week after is the cutoff race. K&N West, of course, finished up. Peak Mexico Series. Looks like they finished their season up in Triovalo Internacional. Cajetel, butchering that. But they got some pretty cool looking short tracks down there. That's in 2 weeks, though. Ruben Garcia Jr. leads that points battle. 7 points over Erwin Vences. And then Ruben Ravello, Hugo Olivares, and Santiago Tovar finishes out your top 5 in that points battle. Formula 1, I believe, is off next week. They take a week off before they go to Brazil. And I believe... Oh, and then V8 Supercars is back next week after a week off, racing at Oh, I can't say that. I'm going to butcher that. Pukakeke Park, I think is how it's said. Oh, I'm butchering that. That you guys just listen to some word salad with the Wookie this week. But they're racing in New Zealand. It's a kind of a flat track that goes around a horse track. And, produces some pretty good racing. It's kind of a similar track to Sandown, just not as quick. Definitely been some big crashes there in the past. But anyways, the track is outside of Auckland in New Zealand. So I think they got 2 more rounds before they finish up their season. Yep. New Zealand and Newcastle. Finishing out the year for cars, late model stock, and the cars super late model tours. The Sobo 250 at South Boston Speedway. They've had like a 1.5-month break in between. They last raced. It would have been almost a 2-month break before for the super late models. And late model stock, if I look at theirs. Both they were almost a 2-month break after Orange County. So, anyways, looking at the South Boston points, or the super points, Jared Fryer is currently leading 6 points, 8 points over Toyota development driver Raphael Lassard. You'll definitely see he's a French Canadian. Won a lot of races. You'll definitely hear a lot about Raphael Lassard in the future. Corey Himes, 3rd in points. Anthony Cataldi is 4th. And Molly Helmuth is currently 5th in points. And then the late model stocks, Bobby McCarty is currently leading. He's got a little more. He's got 20-point advantage over veteran Lee Pulliam. Fellow veteran Deke McCaskill is 3rd in points. And then junior motorsports driver run part-time, or he's running a few select Xfinity races here and there. Josh Berry He's currently 4th in points. And then Lane Riggs, second-generation driver. Former Cup Series driver, Scott Riggs' son. He's currently 5th in points. And now it looks like a podcast for this week. Before I go, I'm going to try to eke out this Wookie Drives episode out this week before I go out west to Texas. Of course, this podcast will come out on, it has to come out. It will come out probably tomorrow night or probably Monday night, Tuesday at the latest, and expect the Wookie Drives come out sometime in between. There won't be a traditional podcast next week. I'm sending my laptop off to get fixed. The screen is coming apart, so I will be without the laptop. Stay tuned to the YouTube channel. I will do another Wookie live cast, my thoughts on the racing weekend, similar to what I did for Bristol. And then I'll do a traditional podcast when I get back from Phoenix. I get back Monday, the following a week. I get back 2 weeks from tomorrow, or from this Monday. I don't know. There's all sorts of work salad going on. But anyways, and then that happens. I'm also going to try to record I got to clear out some phone space so I can do some recording. Try to get a vlog done while I'm out there out west. Just a fun little vlog. I'll maybe do another rental car review while I'm out west, or just film one. I'm hoping, maybe. We'll see. And then I may even go on Turo. Let's see what happens. And then, yeah, this is probably like one of the craziest parts of the season. So next week just will be a regular live cast. I'll be streaming off my phone, and I'll record my thoughts off of that. Anyways, yeah, podcast this week. I'm doing my darnest to get this Wookie Drives out, and then live cast next week, and then back on schedule with the podcast the week after. And then, of course, in a couple of weeks, once the season ends, I'll be filming a bunch of stuff with Wookie Drives. So hopefully I have plenty of content for the off season to keep me and you busy. So, and then I'll try to keep the podcast a weekly thing as the winter goes on. It'll probably be a little more condensed because there's no racing hardly. Of course, we got Snowball Derby. Middle of December, Formula E picks back up. Then we got ARCA tested. Thoughts on, and then silly season rumors and shenanigans and all that. And then, another thing. There's a pretty good chance I'll be helping out with a chump car this winter too. So, yeah, you'll hear some stuff about that. And you'll see some stuff on the channel through that. So, definitely a lot of stuff coming up this winter as my schedule clears and I can work on it. So, anyways, thank you for listening. I've done enough rambling. Enough word salad for... I guess I should end it on that. Thank you. Have a good night.
Ever dreamed of driving a real cup car? Well, now you can. This is the fan controller.
What the? Tony, what are you doing? It's possessed.
That was completely inappropriate.
I'm out of here.
Run, Sandy, run for your life!
What was that all about?